it's the story of my life, the hardships, the trials, the tribulations, the obstacles, and the rewards.
Adam and I were working together, and like always, I opened my big mouth about potential ideas, and so we discussed the possibility of doing a documentary, just a short documentary about him and music, and we could travel around. And I'm like, hey, it would be a good idea if you had an album that you could, like either sell to people or give like a demo, something that we could work with just to help promote the documentary even more. And really, that's where it came from. And Adam already had a collection of songs, so it made, like, realistically, it made sense as a step to take.
These songs were amassed over a period of a couple of years. Really wasn't, I never really had the time to focus on writing for for a lot of time. So it took me a couple of years to get all 9 tracks to to the point where they could be recorded.
In the breeze whispering to me, it makes me wonder who we are and who we're gonna be. Makes me wonder what would have been if we never did meet. Sitting under the trees in Lakeside Park. Sitting under the trees in Lakeside Park. The happy people walk by and smile at me, shuffling their feet as if there's nowhere else they'd rather be, longing only for their souls to be free. Sitting under the trees in Lakeside Park. Sitting under the trees in Lakeside Park. Strum guitars as it starts to get dark, and the sun goes down over Lakeside Park. Sound unceremoniously begins to fade away, signifies the end of yet another day. Sitting under the trees in Lakeside Park, listening to willows in the breeze in Lakeside Park. It wasn't the air or the gravity, it was just the thought of being with you that clung to me. Why does everything I love always go away? Maybe I could get it all back again someday. Sitting under the trees in Lakeside Park. Sitting under the trees in Lakeside Park. Sitting under the trees in Lakeside Park.
song that was actually written sitting in Lakeside Park. A friend of mine, we were out jamming on the beach, and was kind of inspired by the events that were happening in Lakeside Park that night. Pretty much written on the spot about exactly what we observed passing, life passing us by. It was a song written about what we were watching.
I think I was kind of more nervous than he was. I was like, oh God, what's going to happen here? Is this going to go all right? I'm like, something's going to go wrong. Something's going to go wrong. Everything for that, for actually getting to the recording was going a little too smoothly. And I was like, all right, something has got to happen here because this is too good to be true. And everything went fine, which was extraordinary. And everything's actually been going fine since then. So it was amazing. And to videotape, just seeing like the excitement of actually being able to do it and just watching Adam sitting there listening to the songs after they've been recorded, kind of like, wow, I can't believe I'm doing this. And it was good. It was a lot of fun. It was a very good environment to be in at that time.
To be honest, I thought I was going to be a little bit more nervous than I was. I was perfectly at ease. I mean, that's it's what I do best. That's what I've done for half of my life. So I was just just focusing on getting it right, trying not to make too many errors, and get it done. And that was a song that I'd been working on it for some time, and when I went into the recording studio, I only had 2 verses for the song. It just kind of seemed like it was telling half a story. You didn't feel like there was any closure to the song, and so Trevor Lacas was in the recording studio with me as well, and so was Ethan Rising, the engineer, and together we all kind of sat down, brainstormed, and we came up with that third and final verse. That, in my opinion, it just really brought closure to the song and really wrapped it up nicely.
Adam kind of came in with only 2 verses to the song. So we got up there and he out there into the studio and he played it. Something like Ethan and I, the engineer, were sitting in the the recording room, and we're like, something's missing here. And it was only about 1:40 seconds, and I'm like, this isn't working. So, and we were even having a hard time actually getting through the whole recording process of it. I think we did a bunch of takes on that one. Just because there was something, like you could just tell, something just didn't feel right. So we sat, I'd say, in the editing room for a good 20 minutes and basically hammered out some lyrics. And me, much to my excitement, I'm not a songwriter by any stretch of the imagination. Tell me to write a screenplay about writing a song, I can do it. But to sit down and actually punch out some lyrics for a song, not really my forte. So when I came up with a line, it was like, woo! And I would cheer, and I was just so excited. And we hammered that out so quickly, and it was like, okay, yeah, that works. And sometimes I'd come up with lines, and Adam's just like, no, Trev, no, that's horrible. I'm like, oh, I know. So we actually got that song finished out. I think we went for lunch or supper at that point, and we're like, let's go get something to eat, and then we'll come back. And then we came back, Adam sat down, and boom, out came the song. And a couple takes, and it was good. And now it seems more complete as more of a story. Like there's a bookend. There's 3 verses, beginning, middle, and end, and it's tied up better now. It seems to have a better flow.
If I had to pick just one, of course it's hard for me to pick just one, but if I was backed into a corner and had to pick one, I think my favorite would probably be Basement Apartment. That was when I had I had the musical track, and I was really happy with the musical track, but I could just never find the words that really fit to the song, and I had been trying for months, and nothing was coming to me. Again, we had a little bit of a brainstorming session in the studio, and nobody could really come up with adequate words that really captured the feeling of the music. So Trevor Lacas took me aside and whispered in my ear. He said, what do you do when you're walking down the street, you don't know the words to a song? You either hum or you whistle. So he told me, why don't you try whistling? So we didn't tell anybody. We went into the studio, recorded the first track, and then I started whistling. Of course, I made an error, so we had to stop recording. And over the control room intercom, the engineer Ethan says, whistling. And I said, yeah, whistling. And he's like, I like it. He gives a thumbs up. I like it. So we did another take of the track, and it turned out beautifully. And people really respond to the whistling.
I was sitting in my editing room, and he was on MSN, I was on MSN, and I'm just looking around. I'm like, oh, this is going to be one hell of a long road to go on to make this documentary. I'm like, And then that pause, I'm like, aha, The Long Road. So I send it to him. I'm like, what do you think about this as the title? And he's like, yeah, that works, man. That works really well. Let's do it. So that's where the title came from.
The title of the album actually came from Trevor Lacas. He actually messaged me one day and said, you know what, I've got a perfect title for your album. And he told me The Long Road, and instantly I fell in love with it. It just sums up exactly what the album is. The album is about my life, and about everybody's life, really. And we all have a long road to walk through life. So it was a perfect fit for me. It's been overwhelmingly positive, and I never went into the recording studio with with the idea in my mind of marketing it to people per se. I was more or less trying to do it to prove to myself that I could actually do it, that I had what it takes to get it done. And the people that have heard it are just overwhelmingly positive, and never expected that in my wildest dreams.
Even like I've had friends and family and people I know listen to the album, or even one track or two tracks, and they're like, wow, this is good. A friend of mine heard it in the rough version and said, can I have a copy? So I was like, okay. So I gave her a rough copy, and she's listening to it constantly. She was actually here at my house one day, and I started playing some music, and his album came on, and she goes, I gotta tell you, I've been listening to this for about a month straight. I can't. I'm like, all right, that's fine. So it shows that there is an appreciation for it and how well it's actually doing. And just to be at Adam's CD release party and watching all the people that actually turned out, not just family, but people who have actually seen it in the paper and stuff like that, and to see them applauding and like freaking out afterwards, and not just doing it because they are family and friends and people that know him, but doing it because they really believe and appreciate what he's doing. I got a couple pilots for some internet TV shows. Adam and I came up with something today called El Cheapo, which has generated a lot of laughs and delayed the filming process of this particular making of documentary. But the documentary for The Long Road in general is really the next thing on the plate, and we're prepping for that right now in development, trying to gain some funding and stuff like that, finding out who we're going to interview and trying to get in contact with those individuals. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on right now.
I mean, right now I'm working on amassing another collection of songs. I'd ideally like to record another follow-up album in the spring or summer. Before that happens, though, I'd like to start gigging, doing, playing a little bit more live performances, and in the nearer future, hopefully, get some more filming done on the documentary, The Long Road, and take it from there.
My head is spinning around and around, and I need my feet on solid ground. But you're not safe and I'm not sound, and I feel like I'm nothing when you're around. My heart is aching, my eyes filled with tears. I think I'm falling, it's this I fear. But I'm not safe, and I'm not sound. I can't be me when you're around.